Well, on Thursday, October 31st, you probably know that the market has just tanked so badly, with the S&P 500 index drop about 1.86%, and Nasdaq has just experienced one of their worst day of the year by losing about 2.76%. But then when you check about this one stock, well, it rose about 0.26% positive on the day. Therefore, I would say that this stock deserves for a closer look for in-depth study and analysis, given its potential for growth and the recent development that could influence its future performance. Well, this stock is INCY Corporation. So for those of you who kind of new with this company, well, INCY Corporation is a biopharmaceutical company that is known for developing and commercializing therapies primarily for oncology and inflammation-related diseases. Well, recently this company has gained a significant recognition for its flagship drug called Jakafi that is used to treat a red blood disorder. Now, what recently happened on Tuesday, 29th of October, 2 days before the market tanked, there was a news about this insight, and the news propelled the stock to hit 52-week high with the report that is third quarter revenue surpassed analysts' expectations, and they brought in about $1.14 billion, notably higher than the last year, which is $919 million. And even this is above the $1.08 billion that the analyst has forecasted. So overall, it seems that investors are so thrilled about this, with the shares jumping about 12% for the day on the 29th of October. So now let's deep dive into the Smart Money Insight to see a deeper analysis about this stock and how we could potentially benefit from the current sentiment. Hello traders, and welcome back to Smart Money Insight. My name is Rain, and let's deep dive into INCY Corporation and take a look at this current report. Well, for earning, I would say there was a big mixed bag this time round, as they reported quarterly earning of $106 million, which is equivalent to 54 cents per share, and this is down from last year, which is $171 million, equivalent to 76 cents per share. But if you look at its adjusted figure, meaning to say that excluding some one-time or its irregular expenses, then they are actually beating expectation with earning of $1.07 per shares. So this is beating the forecast of 98 cents. On the other side, the bright side is there was a good news about their key drug here, the Jakafi. The company has just raised its full year sales guidance for Jakafi, now expecting the sales between 2.74 and 2.77 billion. Now take a look, and this is up here previously from the range 2.71 to 2.75 billions. So the drug's third quarter sales were very strong, growing 16% year over year, and we would like to thank the 10% increase in patient demand. And also take a look here, it's a very strong sentiment coming from Bank of America, because it just upgraded from neutral to buy with the price target to $90. And let's analyze its trend. Now this is the chart of INCY stock, and for us to understand it better, I would say that we need to pull back for a longer historical price. So first we need to change it through a weekly chart so we can see a longer historical price and trend. Well, as you can see over here on the page here, that there are two prominent trends. One is the long-term uptrend here, and the other one is the recent downward trends. Well, from this view, then I would say over here you kind of realize that, well, this is overvalued, and therefore there is a corrections down towards the value over here. And by today, you know that well, the business back then does not support the valuations, therefore there's a corrections before the price finally joined back to this core uptrending channel. And the reason why I put it like the core uptrending channel, because, well, the channel has been established for a very long time. Now, for those investors kind of worried about the overvaluation right now, I would say that this earlier or a heavy correction from this point to this point, therefore I mentioned a very heavy corrections. Well, I would say this might be a good sign for investors that look for a long-term horizons, because basically around this level could be, I would say, a technical price support. And by the way, talking about value of the stock, right, the PEG for this INCY is 1.69, comparing to its peer is about 2.18. So talking about valuation, well, this stock relatively still under value. All right, now to understand about the daily price behavior, so let's move back to the daily chart. Now, as you know, how the movement normally behave is that the price fluctuating up and down, try to hitting both resistance and the support line. Well, from this view, I would say that when we look at the support side, this is kind of like the support level, I would say around $69, around that level. All right, and then the next support level is around here, which is about $64 level. All right, so if the stock, the traders kind of like they would like to do a profit taking, then you might see some pullback at this level perhaps, and probably the next one's going to be at this level. All right. But let's say looking at the current sentiment, I would say that the stock probably will go higher, testing for the first resistance over this side. All right, this is probably, I would say, around $78, or probably if the sentiment is kind of strong, that it cross over beyond this resistance line, testing for the next resistance line around this area, which is about $86, and probably this is where the range where Bank of America is looking at, which is the $90 level. Now let's take a look. It's for a potential smart money. All right, and to do that, I'm going to use our proprietary system called TradersGPS system. To activate the TradersGPS system is very simple. You only need to check the box, and well, the system will automatically compute the smart money potential to you easily without doing in a very hard way. All right, so by looking at this arrow, you can quickly identify your potential or your opportunities. Well, first I need to explain that the reason why a lot of people love to join the smart money, because very often smart money push the price high, and those investors that can successfully join on this ride, they can profit easily. And on the downside, that very often is kind of protected, because a lot of money, smart money coming in, so when the bad sentiments somehow go into the opposite directions, the damage will not be that hard. Now just take a look historical analysis here when there's a potential of a smart money. So the moment if you ride on this opportunity, you might ride to profit together with the smart money, right? And those of the push, which is the push is not hard enough to to drive the price much higher, all right, and pull back. So I would say that this is where the smart money risk management for smart money comes in, meaning to say that you will not, or a higher chance you will not facing a great damage, all right, because it's kind of flat. All right, it goes up a little bit and kind of weak, and then it pull back, but the drop, I would say, is not that damaging. All right, now this time around, I would say coincidentally happens on 29th of October when there is a release of the reports. Then the price sits high about 12% on the day itself. Now the things that I want to pay attention to, this is on the, I would say, 31st October, right? This is happens when the market, a lot of market index like S&P 500 and Nasdaq drop about 2.76%. Then apparently for this stock it gained 0.26%. And our system has identified the strong support came in because, well, there's a smart money come into the stock. Well, you could say probably it's a coincidence or not. It's up to you to decide. All right. Well, if you want to understand more about this TraderGPS system on how this thing works, then you can check on the link on the description below. All right, so now let's move on to understand about this stock from the option market perspective. Let's dwell into the implied volatility chart of this INCY stock on Thursday close. Well, for those of you new to the implied volatility chart, well, the y-axis represents the implied volatility level, the x-axis represents the strike price, and at the bottom here is the volume of the transactions. Well, for, the blue color represents the put options and the red color represents for the call options. Now, in general, when you look over this area, I would say that the implied volatility for both put and call options is relatively at moderate level overall, but there is a pattern emerging, especially when you look at the call options over here. The implied volatility, I would say a bit lower at the lower strike price. However, it starts picking up as the strike price moves higher. And I would say that this is kind of something worth noting because this gradual increase in implied volatility on the higher call strikes very often hints to traders that there is a bullish sentiment, as if that almost the market expecting a potential upward move in the stock price. Well, on the other hand, if you look at the put options over here, I would say that its implied volatility relatively high when the strike price is at the lower level. And if you're asking why, well, this often signals that some demand for the downside protection. It is just a normal downside protection, as investors might be just try to hedge against a dip around these levels, even though the overall formation is still more towards the bullishness over here. Now, with that in mind, I would say that the sentiment here feels a bit mixed, but leaning cautiously optimistic. Well, the heavy focus on the call options at this $85 strike price, along with relatively, I would say, high implied volatility at this level, this suggests that some investors are kind of hoping for a solid price increase with $85 as a potential target. And meanwhile, the high number of the put options around 67 to 68 price range, this suggests that some investors are still being cautious. They're just buying protection at the lower level, which shows that there is still a bit concern over the possible risk. Now, let's take a look at its volatility trend chart. Now, in this chart, the blue color represents the implied volatility for put and the red color represents the implied volatility for call. Now, let's take a look to see what happens on the 29th of October that day during the earning and revenue release by the company. Well, the implied volatility for both the call and the put here, they mark deep, meaning say that both went down to this level, to a very low level, means that there's indication that the stock price on the day, which is about 12% rise, has been locked in to stabilize at the bullish level. However, the recent elevated interest rate concern that hit the market on the 31st of October, as you know, the S&P and the Nasdaq dropped close to 2.76%. That caused the implied volatility for the put to spike up again. All right, but if you realize that the call IV didn't rise as much, well, I would say that this shows the market was a bit nervous. All right, but this small rise in the call IV, this suggested that the stock INCY still looks very strong and may stay on the upward trend in the near future. So that is all the analysis that I have for this INCY stock for today. And if you believe that my sharing is useful, then please give a thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification so you will not miss out any good opportunities again in the future. And also please leave any comments below if you want me to analyze your favorite stock whenever the opportunity comes, so I can share more smart money insights with you. All right, so see you at the next one, and trade smart.